So because my co-author, Sumayya Syed, cannot be with us for this event, I decided to read a couple of sections from a poem that I wrote called Alcohol. And it's a long poem, and it was shortlisted for the 2019 Malahat Review Long Poem Prize. And I sent it to Sumayya in February of 2019. Alcohol, Section 2. The first man to dance with me after my marriage ended apologized again and again, having pulled me to my feet at a party for being drunk. In fact, I preferred his game, good-natured shambling, his scruffy, scuffed boot shuffling, to the pestilence of rooftop summer small talk, the vacant chatter of the volleyball crowd. Really, he was gallant as Mr. Knightley. His limbs flailed towards some just out of reach memory of decorum, and I could give her the slip, that wallflower pinned to my shadow, that third-wave feminist wondering how bored the DJ must be to resort to playing Sweet Child o' Mine on 80s night. Could the world have kept this one thing intact for me? Since grade 8 grad, the last time, don't tell my dad, I danced with a man I wasn't married to? Could the point be lightness? To twirl and filigree the air with every sign of forgetting, being free of it, being over it, free of it enough to lavish a few minutes proximity in a republic of strangers, no hard feelings, no harm done? I'd have liked to think he wanted to reach the place where he could see I already was. That his "I'm sorry I'm so wasted right now" was meant to concede the fact alcohol had failed to take him there. But I'd gained no elevation higher than boredom-tinged resignation. Sure-footed sobriety had brought me only to this, awkwardly keeping time with morally conflicted stadium rock. My no worries, my sure, go sleep it off, perfunctory, perforce. My drunk Knightley's outstretched hand, no portent of transformation, but a full circling back to the darkened school gym, where two boys squared off, pulling at my elbow at age 12, resentful as Western civ and Islamic civ, demanding I pick a side. Why'd you make the poster if you weren't going to dance? If you weren't going to dance, then why'd you make the poster? Alcohol, Part 3. In Devdas, an extravagant carouse winds itself around a knell of mourning. Shook, SRK grips Jackie Shroff by the shoulder. Madhuri rings the temple bell in echo of Udit Narayan's anguished tonal shift. It's she who's most stricken, struck again with delight, when Shroff beckons her to the contest of the agile, her cool, self-possessed, silk-swathed dancers against his cotton-clad phalanx of bumbling binge drinkers. Between tavern and temple, the dazzling call and response of onomatopoeias, the struck chalak-chalak of the men's whiskey glasses, the rung chana-chan of the women's silver anklets. What's the hook that keeps me watching? Could it be the only sexy thing ever suspended in the air between men and women? The promise to meet as equals? More dangerous than the bottle Madhuri raises out of the men's reach, now playful temptation, now foreboding, as the dagger eluding Macbeth's grasp. Come, let me clutch thee. I wish I were quicker. I wish I'd been born to quickness, like Madhuri, like musicians who solve the problem of how to measure time, dancers who apply the science of how to take up space, how every tal inscribes a technology of keeping up with the body's innate sense. Here is what I was made for. Still, as Chandramukhi, she has no real power. Her vocation is always to guard the line of public morals. See the jasmine-haired women ring their anklets around its sharp edge, to make the work appear as weightless as the frown that flits across her brow, to disguise the emotional drudgery of holding down the gender divide as irresistibly danceable. See the men stagger all over it, smashing glass after glass for others to sweep away. And what rage can I summon? What divine force will witness how I live to write the words women and men, and no one argues? Everyone knows, despite centuries of public protest, private anguish, knowing how much of what makes us feel most alive escapes the drag of their nets, how the one still remains a persistent weight, pressing down on the other. Only Devdas has the right to drive the plot, and he does, recklessly, having condemned himself to drink until death. The alternative, to fight to be with the woman he loves, was already, always, way off the table.